So I've been asked to watch this video by Jerome. It had a different thumbnail initially, but it was effectively a video of how to prepare for TBC for people with a life and a job and 17 wives and kids. And honestly, let's see what Jerome has to say, if this video is actually real or it's actually rage bait. It could go either way, being realistic.
TBC is coming and the dream is alive. Rushing to level 70, pushing the heroics with the boys, topping the damage meters, crushing gnomes in arenas. But here's the reality check. There is so much that needs to get done in the pre-patch in the first month. You can't afford to pick the wrong main. You can't afford to fall behind on leveling. And you definitely can't afford to be broke while everybody else is buying their epic flying.
I love Jerome, but why does he does the YouTuber voice so heavily? He doesn't sound like that when I talk to him or in his stream. He really goes from 0 to 100 and goes straight full stream, like YouTuber voice. Like, hey guys, today's stream brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. It does work, I guess. I mean, to be fair, if it works for everybody, it is a valid reason for it, but let's click play.
If you have a job, a family, or just a life, you gotta have a plan. Let's dive into the ultimate TBC prep guide for dad gamers. Don't get left behind. First things first, analysis paralysis.
I mean, he's not wrong, but like, I did this video about 6 months ago, and one of the first points I made was you need to pick your main. And Jerome roasted me for it. He said, Keck W, really, Eben? Pick your main. Everyone's already done that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
What do you actually play? Well, if you want to dominate early TBC bosses like Gruul and Magtheridon with minimal stress, here are your 3 biz dad options. Number 1 is the Arcane Mage. Well, if you can sweet talk your way into the Shadow Priest group for that sweet, sweet mana battery, you are looking at absolute DPS domination. Number 2 is the Destruction Warlock. The rotation is so simple you could hold your entire family in one hand while you're topping the DPS meters with the other. It is perfection for anybody playing casually. Number 3 is the BM Hunter. Now, these are the kings of single target. And
so this video by Jerome so far is literally just talking about the average dad gamer who like can't play the game. It's like it's both a serious video and a rage bait video at the same time.
Listen, if you're scared.
Also, if you guys are wondering why he has a beanie, he shaved his eyebrow so it looks like a Neanderthal. Like, unironically, he looks like a Neanderthal. Like, I was showing people on stream earlier. I made a comparison. This is what Jerome looks like. Ignore my roadmap. Where's Jerome? This is Jerome right here. As you guys can see, there's a reason why he has a beanie on. And so, because of this, the man is now beanified. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
To melee weaving or optimal rotations, don't be. You can literally ignore that mechanic entirely and still be top 5 on the meters, no problem. But if you really want to assume the ultimate dad position, you gotta be the ultimate main tank dad. This is the great debate, Feral versus Prot Paladin. The reality is, for 90% of the game, dungeons, heroics, trash packs, Prot Paladin is just the king. You got your salvation, you got insane AoE threat, you destroy heroics. It is really the efficient choice. But the true dads, they go feral druids, they don't go Prot Paladins. Why is that? Well, yeah, you kind of just have 2 buttons, but...
So, another caveat here. I watched Jerome and my boy Medina go in and try to do Karazhan, Gruul, and Mag. And Jerome kept getting one-shot by bosses. And Medina couldn't hold threat to save his life. Medina, playing Prot Pally, had neither Righteous Fury or any of his real abilities activated or ready to go. And Jerome had cat gear. and he was tanking. I love these guys, but holy shit. Funny shit, by the great stream. It was a hilarious stream, but like goddamn. He is right though. When it does come to picking like the best tank is Bear, Prot Pally, Prot Warrior. Not because Prot Warrior is bad, but Prot Warrior has a much higher skill ceiling than the other two classes. But as I was saying, the reason that Warrior is like the third on the list is because the skill ceiling is higher to play Warrior to the same effect as, in this context, Prot Pally or Bear. Now, there's nothing bad about Prot Warrior. It does a great job. It does a really good job. But you gotta be realistic. If you're an average player or a dad gamer and you want a tank, be Bear. Survivability, DPS, decent AoE, great single target, whereas Prot Pally, insane. Prot Pally is insane across the board. Do a TBC comp guide? Should I? Should I do a composition guide? Last time I made a video, by the way, I went and made this video. I got the help of 3 world first raiders. One guy was second. He's in chat right now, Roth. He was second at like Sunwell. They were the NA second. And I got a couple other people that were world first and like in, the top 10, top 20 guilds. And I made this guide, and I did it, and I still got flamed by people who aren't even good. The issue with making guides is the dumbest people speak the loudest. NA number 1, world number 4, that's what it was, sorry. And so like when you make a guide, you can give people great information, and you have gray passes or green passes coming up to you going, actually, you're wrong. You're actually wrong, just so you know, you're actually stupid. But I could do a class comp guide. I can get these world first players to help me out and make the guide work together. And Ginkaba, hey brother, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the cult.
That's not the real reason. The real reason is that those 2 buttons do way more threat than any paladin on Earth. Plus you got 20,000 health, which means you survived.
Again, no. The Bear Druid's button does not do 20,000 like more threat. 2,000 more threat. It's literally because he had cat gear on and San Medina is terrible at Prot Pally.
The hits that flatten everybody else. I'm personally leaning towards that Prot Paladin a little bit more myself, but I would love to know in the comments, are you Team Bear or you Team Bubble? Next up, we've got leveling. You might think it's too late to start that new character. That is completely wrong though. Waiting for the pre-patch is the actual mistake. Right now, leveling has 3 huge advantages. First, 0 competition. You can quest in peace.
Okay, so I need to give everybody a caveat. There are no dungeon groups. It's a shit ton of boosters. There are so many boosters out in the open world right now, you cannot find dungeons for the most part. I can't speak for Alliance side Night Slayer, but on Horde side Night Slayer, in every hour or 2 hours, you'll get maybe 1 group if you're lucky. If you're lucky. Second part, as soon as you exit the Barrens or Silver Pine and you exit the safe zones, there is a level 60 rogue or hunter or some BS hiding. For example, Stone Talon Mountain. I tried to go quest on Stone Talon Mountain 4 times on 4 different days, and every single time the entrance was camped by a different person. They're not even camping because Ebonhardt, 200 viewer streamer, 10k subs. I'm not famous. Nobody gives a shit about me. These people are literally camping because there's no other content. So trying to go into any zone, you're gonna get camped for the fun of it because these guys have nothing else to do but camp. They're bored. They're looking for content. And you the new leveler, you're the content. So yes, in regards to the quest mobs and the tags, there's no competition. I can't speak for Dreamscythe. Like, don't let me speak for the PV server. But if you're playing on Night Slayer, keep that in mind.
Without 800 blood arrows stealing your boars. Second, speed. It doesn't have to be slow. I've linked the guide below to the very best weapon upgrades for every single level bracket. You grab yourself a cheap BOE blue, you slap the fiery weapon on it, you're turning into a twink god. You're going to be two-shotting mobs all the way to level 60. Third, we've got the mage boosting. Now this goes away permanently on January 13th.
So on this part, he is correct. They're removing boosting. You can't get boosted anymore. They're doing the TBC anti-boost changes. So Jerome is speaking God's truth. He is speaking the truth right there. So that is something to keep in mind.
If you got a mage guilty or 2,000 gold burning a hole in your pocket for some reason, boost right now. Get to 60 before the nerf hammer drops. And of course, there is the Epic Dad Edition with the level 58 boost included. Not a sponsor, and yeah, that $80 price tag really hurts. But for a busy dad, time is money, friend. Let's talk.
So I have a much older audience on YouTube and Twitch. I think the average age is like 38 and above for my audience. And again, not the biggest audience, not the biggest sample pool, but I know a shit ton of people that plan on buying the Dark Portal bundle. They're dads. They don't have as much time to play. Whatever free time they've got to play, they don't want to spend it leveling. They're just going to buy a boost. And this is very common. It's going to be well spread across the industry, across the player base in general. They're going to make so much money on this boost, it's insane.
Talk professions now. You can knock these out right now. Get your skills to 300 today, and you'll only have to do 75 more points in TBC. If your goal is pure gold, your answer is simple.
No, I'm not saying buy the boost. I'm saying based on what I've seen, a shit ton of people are going to buy the boost. I think the older aging player base genuinely doesn't give a shit and will be buying the boost. I think this preaching of morality and doing all these things of saying don't do this, play the game the way it's intended, yada yada. I don't think that works anymore. I don't think people care. I think the average dad gamer just wants to raid or PvP or whatever, and they don't care about leveling a new character. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am in this context.
And mining. While everybody else is rushing to 70, you're supplying the entire server with the exact mats that they desperately need. You profit every single step of the way. If you really want player power though, you gotta craft your own gear. Blacksmithing weapons are ridiculously strong. True BIS all the way into the next phase for the warriors, the paladins. Imagine running a heroic, getting mats, crafting a weapon that is BIS for the next 6 months. Now that is a satisfying dad experience. What about for clothies though? Tailoring, the Spell Strike set, tons of different sets that are basically Karazhan loot that you can make.
And again, he's 100% correct there. A lot of your BIS is craftable gear. A lot of your BIS is craftable. You have to go and craft it, buy the materials, source the materials, go and craft the gear and all the resources. So yes, he is right. If you're the clothy, you do need Spell Strike or Frozen Weave of the Shadow one. I think it's called Frozen Weave. And those tailoring sets. You have the blacksmithing hammers for warriors and stuff like that. A lot of classes have craftable gear that you need to go and craft. So you gotta make sure your characters have your professions ready. In regards to going out the open world and farming that shit, very unrealistic. You're very rarely gonna find any fucking nodes because of the amount of boosters and botters out in the open world.
At home. Plus, the cooldowns like the Spell Cloth, the Shadow Cloth, printing hundreds of passive gold every single week. And for the tanks, well, you gotta go engineering. It is the absolute king of threat. The grenades, stamina trinkets, mode extractors. Do not sleep on engineering. Now, a bonus tip here is to max your first aid right now. When TBC hits Netherweave Cloth, it's going to be dirt cheap. You can buy it, you can turn it into bandages, and you can vendor those for a huge profit. It is basically free money. Now, I never did read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but if you watch the next minute, you're gonna be a rich dad. Strategy 1 is to extract profit.
So look, I love my boy Jerome, but he's the streamer just like me. The amount of gold has been traded, guys. I'm not saying he's wrong. There's a lot of ways to make gold, but he genuinely gets gold. He gets handed as many thousands of gold as I've been handed. I do think he farms gold at times, but no, actually, I don't think he does. I don't think he plays a lot, but I don't think he farms gold like that. He spends so much gold that he cannot reasonably be playing the game as much as he does and farm the amount of gold he spends. It's not possible.
from all your professions. Engineers, start making those iron counterweights, dense sharpening stones, the grenades. Everybody's gonna be using them for that pre-patch leveling rush. You could literally make 800 gold.
He does none of the gold farms he talks about. But people click, and technically the information is correct. But he sells, every day, every time I log into his stream, he's selling a Nixia head, or Nef head, or a Syrian's head. All this man does is sell fucking world buffs. And like just gear. He reserves stuff and sells it.
3 days, just standing in Ironforge. Now strategy number 2 is the leveling double dip. If you level a mage to 40 in the next few weeks, you can easily boost yourself to 50 with Zul'Farrak. The whole time you're making 50 plus gold every single hour. You get a leveled ult that will be topping the damage meters, a funded main, well that is peak DAD efficiency. Now strategy number 3.
So selling GDKPs are against TOS. So what he's been doing is, if you reserve an item, you can sell your own item that you reserved. So he hard reserves the head of a Nixia, or he SRs his own loot, and then you can buy that loot from him. It's no bidding. Somebody just DMs, I'll pay 500 for the head, he sells the head. Or he drops the head, the world buff for guild, so they can get their head at the right time, right place, whatever.
3 is the Snowball secret. This is the big one. In TBC, snowballs trigger Judgment of Wisdom, which means that casters just macro a snowball into every single cast they have, and they get a free 100 mana per 5 seconds. It is super broken, so what I'm doing right now is I'm filling every single character with thousands of snowballs right now when they just cost copper. When Winter Veil ends, well, these disappear from the vendors for an entire year. The price is going to go to 20 or 30 silver over time. That is a 1000% return while you just sleep. Now, everything so far has been for that 1 hour gamer. But what if you got a free weekend? What if the kids are at grandma's? Well, it's time to go sweaty. Level that second character for double the profession cooldowns, double the blasting. Remember, account-wide attunements for Karazhan. It's going to be a good time. Farm the Dire Maul jump runs. Farm Scholomance Dark Runes. Every single hour you put in now is an advantage you hold for the next 2 years. This time you are not getting left behind in the Dark Portal like Kevin from Home Alone. You are going to be thriving. Thank you for watching the Ultimate Dad Guide. Hit like, subscribe so you don't miss the next guide on Saturday, and I will see you in Outlands.
So I'm gonna keep it real. I love Jerome. He's my homeboy. I play with him all the time. My brother in Christ. What the fuck? Not a bad guide, though. Not a bad guide. I'll give it to Jerome. Good shit, buddy. Good shit. Definitely a dad guide for sure. As a father, step 1 for me will be buying a level boost. Great video as always. I've been a bubble boy all my year. I mean, yeah, good shit, Jerome. There'll be a link in the description down below. Go check this out. It's a second channel video. I don't give a shit if you like or subscribe. Dislike. Dislike and leave a hate comment. Fuck it. Let's get this video to 7,000 dislikes.